Call the city council meeting to order. Roll call, please.
Alderman Cadella.
Here.
Alderman Knight.
Here.
Alderman Cole.
Here.
Alderman Lewitton.
Here.
Alderman Police.
Here.
Alderman Shockey. Alderman Wesley.
Here.
Alderman Winger. Mayor Johnson.
Here. Quorum being present, will you stand and join me in the Pledge of Allegiance?
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
There she is.
May I have a motion to approve the minutes of February 7th, 2008? Is there a second?
Second.
On the question? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Bills, Alderman Wesley?
I'll make a motion, pay the bill of $764,404.75.
Is there a second?
Second.
On the question? Roll call.
Alderman Cole.
Yes.
Alderman Police.
Yes.
Alderman Knight.
Yes.
Alderman Cadella.
Yes.
Alderman Shockey.
Yes.
Alderman Winger.
Yes.
Alderman Wesley.
Yes.
Alderman Lewitton.
Yes.
That passes. Do any citizens wish to address the city council this evening? If so, if you go to the podium and give us your name and address. Hearing none, I do not have any written communiques. Under Mayor's report, may I have a motion to approve a resolution closing Irving Park Road, Illinois Route 19 for the annual Memorial Day Parade?
So move.
Second.
How many seconds do we have here?
3.
Just pick one.
Okay.
On the question, roll call.
Alderman Coles.
Yes.
Alderman Police.
Yes.
Alderman Knight.
Yes.
Alderman Cadella.
Yes.
Alderman Shockey.
Yes.
Alderman Winger.
Yes.
Alderman Wesley.
Yes.
Alderman Lewitton.
Yes.
That passes Resolution R-08-08. Also under Mayor's report, Alderman Lewitton brought to my attention what the proper procedure is if an emergency occurs over the weekend and you need to get hold of somebody. The proper procedure is to call the sergeant on duty or the watch commander, and that they will make the appropriate notifications to whatever department head or public works employee is necessary. And the number for the non-emergency number, Chief?
The non-emergency number is 630-766-2060. And we'd like to say thank you to the police department for helping Mrs. Anderson with the flooding problem that we had on Stonegate. Thank you.
Any other comments on that? Also, on the mayor's report, I want to remind everybody of the drive down to Springfield. That's April 8th and 9th. And if possible, how many people are planning on attending? It's going to be a budgetary issue this year, so tentatively, does anybody know if they're going or not?
I don't know.
Alderman Cadella? Alderman Police? I think that fits the budget. Anybody else? Shirley and I?
Are we in the budget?
You have your own, so. All right, so tentatively we have 4, and Jeff, I presume, I hope that you are going. Also, I want to advise the public, for those people that want to register for the Seniors Ride Free program by the RTA, you can do that at City Hall at the city clerk's office. Anyone?
Can I make a little?
You may do your own commercial. I think Alderman Shockey, or
No, I just want to say one
if
thing.
you would use the,
It's on. My secretary took care of it. We don't have the pictures. We don't have a camera. But Addison Township, you can go right over there. They'll take your picture and everything. That letter is erroneous. I mean, the letter that they send out isn't exactly what it really should be. But you can go over to Addison Township, go over into the, where Henry Hyde's old office was, and you can get your, they can sign you up, take your picture, everything. We don't have the camera, the means to do it.
Alderman Shockey?
That's exactly what I was going to say too.
All right, I'm going to try to make arrangements for them to come to the next seniors meeting. Hopefully that camera is portable. and we'll be able to sign people up at the Park District. But again, anyone senior then who wants to register for the Seniors Ride Free program, you can do that through Addison Township. And that completes my report. Mr. Manager?
No report.
Is there any objections to any items on the consent agenda? May I have a motion to approve the agenda? Is there a motion?
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second.
All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, motion carries. Now may I have a motion to approve the items on the consent agenda, being approval of brush collection contract award to Winkler's Tree and Landscaping, approval of vehicle purchase through Suburban Purchasing Corporation and the Northwest Municipal Conference, approval of special service area number 14, pay estimate number 4, approval of special service area 12, pay estimate number 6. Is there such a motion?
I'll make the motion.
Is there a second? Roll call.
Alderman Coles?
Yes.
Alderman Police?
Yes.
Alderman Knight?
Yes.
Alderman Cadella?
Yes.
Alderman Shockey?
Yes.
Alderman Winger?
Yes.
Alderman Wesley?
Yes.
Alderman Lewiton?
Yes.
Those items pass. That brings us to committee chairman reports, planning, zoning, and building. Alderman Shockey.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I'd like to make a motion to approve an ordinance establishing Chapter 3, Article 10 of the Code of Ordinances of the City of Wooddale to provide for a code hearing department.
Is there a second
Second.
on the question? Roll call.
Alderman Coles?
Yes.
Alderman Lewiton.
What?
On the ordinance, okay. I'd like everybody to look on page 7. And I just would like to recommend a modification. It says, in addition to fines and penalties assessed, the city shall also have the right to recover all costs associated with the prosecution of each violation. I'd like to add the words, only when it prevails in the case.
Mr. Bond.
Again, that would be up to the hearing or adjudication officer, and they would only award it in the event that the city prevails. And even when the city prevails, they wouldn't all automatically assess the cost against the property owner, depending on the nature of the violation, what efforts the property owner has undertaken to remedy that. So that is only if the city prevails in the prosecution of those code violations.
Since the intent is only if the city prevails and then not always, could we still add the words to put in written form what you just said orally?
Sure, if whoever made the motion wanted to make that by way of an amendment, we could include that language in there. This was, again, just intended to be the right to recover those, because the judge or the hearing officer cannot impose the costs associated with the prosecution without that in the ordinance. But that language certainly can be added if the maker of the motion and the seconder accepts those.
I'll go along with the motion, yeah. Yes.
Seconder agree?
Second, you agree.
Anything further? Roll call.
Alderman Coles?
Yes.
Alderman Police?
Yes.
Alderman Knight?
Yes.
Alderman Cadella?
Yes.
Alderman Shockey?
Yes.
Alderman Winger?
Yes.
Alderman Wesley?
Yes.
Alderman Lewiton?
Yes.
That passes ordinance O-08-11.
That's the end of my report, Mr. Mayor.
Public Health, Safety, and Judiciary, Alderman Coles.
No report.
Public Works, Alderman Winger.
I make a motion to approve bulk road salt purchase from American Rock Salt.
Second.
I'm sorry, would you restate your motion?
I make a motion to approve purchase of additional salt from,
There-
from American Rock Salt.
Is there a cost not to exceed or a specific amount?
I believe it was like 19,000 something. Mr. Murmas or Mr. Holm, did you want to give that figure?
I think it was 19,000. 19
Hall?
and some change, wasn't it?
Or if you just want to say not to exceed 20, but
Yeah, it was 19,122.
is that your motion?
Yes.
Seconder agree?
Yes.
Anything further on the question? Alderman Lewiton.
In our packet, we have a list of bills for this period that we just approved, which I agree with. But on page 11, if everybody take a look at page 11.
vendor, Morton Salt Company. And we have several purchases there. And if you add them all up and you divide them by the unit cost, which is the unit cost being a ton of salt, you have about $41 and some change. I voted against this last time, this motion last time, not because I don't believe the city should have enough salt, I certainly do, but because I made the point that we're buying the salt at the wrong time of the year. When the river, the Mississippi, is blocked and salt can't be brought up by way of barge, the prices of salt double. And Gary made the point, well taken by me, that the amount of salt we needed, if the worst condition, would be about half of what he's proposing, which is under the $10,000 limit that he has to buy salt without coming before the committee. If there was an emergency, he should have just bought within his limits and then come to us for the addition, because he's buying it at over $90 a ton. And I just think that the frugality should be considered like any insurance claim adjuster would do. And that I think that, well, I just think we respect Gary enough to make the decision without coming back to haunt him for making the decision. Any comments?
Alderman Winger?
Thank you. I don't want to run out of salt in the winter. We've had a terrible winter. I think we're buying enough for like 6 snowstorms. So I'm very comfortable buying the amount that we are. And I don't think any of us could have foreseen the amount of snow that fell this season. And we do not have a salt dome. We don't have a place to store mass quantities of salt and then not have it get used. So I really see no other course of action that could have been taken, and I'm glad that we found a supply. Thank you.
But I think the point is, if I understood it, I agree with both of you. Gary, if in the event of an emergency and we run out, just go ahead and purchase it and the council will ratify it later. I mean, citizen safety obviously comes first. And that is within the scope of your authority and the managers. Alderman, please.
I just want to say if maybe in the future, maybe we need to see how much we've been buying, what we've used, comparison, whatever, and maybe next year buy an extra 50 ton or 75 ton or something. Right.
Mr. Holm, and then I'm going to go to the city manager.
It's not that we didn't purchase enough, it's just that we simply don't have a place to store it. I mean, I could have purchased an extra 100 tons early in the season, except I would have had no place to store it. I mean, that was my problem. We don't have a storage facility. And so, well, when the salt was available, I simply couldn't purchase it because I didn't have any place to put it.
Mr. Murris?
I think there also may be some confusion on the pricing of the salt. Irregardless if staff came to council for the purchase of the salt for your approval, the price is no different today than it would have been anyway. So if we came for your approval, it's the same price as it is if we would have not come for your approval at this point in the season.
Alderman Coles?
Right now, there's no salt available in the state of Illinois because of all the snowstorms. You hear people that do a lot of salt and buying them by the bags because they can't buy it by the bulk. So you gotta have, this has gotta be done. And that there is no ifs, ands, or buts. Just let them go along, you buy the stuff and get it in, that's all. We'll figure out what we can do about paying for it. That's Wesley's thing.
Anything further?
Mayor.
Roll call.
Mayor,
I'm sorry, Alderman Knight.
yeah, I mean, this supply and demand is what it is, and the cost and stuff. It's like you're buying gas. You could buy a month or two ago at $2.89. Now you're going to pay $3.25. It's supply and demand. The supply is very limited. You can't get it in here. I'd rather have it here and not have to use it than to have to use it and not have it around, period. And like I said, you're in the insurance business. I would sooner put some salt on the road than be putting out thousands of dollars and having people injured because our streets are not salted.
Alderman Coles?
Mr. Lewitton, the first people that'll complain are the people in all the wards if you don't have the streets clean. So that's his job, and let him do it.
What,
Alderman Lewitton, but let me answer. I think his point was he actually could have ordered it a couple of weeks ago prior to getting council approval because it is an emergency situation.
right.
Public safety trumps the city council on this one. Alderman Lewitton?
Thank you. That's what I was going to try to emphasize. I'm not against buying it. What I'm pointing out, and Gary, I'll ask you this: what is your authority to spend money without coming to council? I believe it's 10,000. Am I correct? You are correct. And you're asking us to spend 20,000. So my question is to you: if it's an emergency, why are you waiting 2 weeks when you could have bought half of what you needed right away and come to us with the balance of the request? Why would we risk being out of salt so that you get authority from the council instead of taking the authority on yourself, which, because we trust you, has been delegated to you?
Well, first of all, the emergency backup bin that we do have that I reference in here, we have not pulled the tarp off yet. I know I mentioned to the mayor in a phone message that we had, and I was mistaken when I made that message. So number one, it wasn't an emergency because we still had our emergency backup. This is a plan to think about the rest of the winter. We're still in mid-February and potentially could be getting snow for another 6 weeks yet. So this, certainly I would assume if we're getting snow for 6 more weeks, our emergency backup bin would eventually been depleted had we not purchased more snow.
And my
with
second
respect-
question is
well,
to you: why, as Alderman Coles said, if it's an emergency, you couldn't have bought half of it right away? And because his point was the barges are empty. His point is you can't buy salt because the supplies have run out. So my question is, maybe they're running out now and they'll be out tomorrow after we gave you the permission to get all the salt. But 2 weeks ago, there was enough salt for you to fill half of that order without coming to council. Why wouldn't you take it upon yourself to protect the city by having at least half the salt that you're asking for now?
Well, and I thank you for saying that you respect my authority to do that. However, it really hasn't been demonstrated. I had conversations with the Forest Preserve, the fire district, early in the season. They had asked us to plow their facilities. I said we couldn't plow their facilities because we didn't have the manpower to make their facilities a top priority. We said we can work with them by giving them, like a half load of salt. We can dump it on one of their facilities. They can tarp it. They can use that salt. They were going to reimburse us for it. We're talking $800, $1,000. When that word of that got to council, certain members of council chastised me for even suggesting that we do that. Jump ahead a couple of weeks, the Daily Herald article regarding Wooddale being able to help Itasca if Itasca were to run out of salt. Again, I heard from council members saying, how could we offer that? That's not my authority to offer salt to other communities. That's why I'm here before you tonight, because I offered in 2 cases costs which were less than $1,000, and yet now I'm being told, and respectfully being told, that I could have purchased $10,000. In me, I'm just trying to catch up and figure out where it is that I do stand. So I'm here tonight because I have a $19,000 expenditure, and with respect to can we still get the salt, yes, we can still get the salt. That's not an issue. We've already, staff wouldn't have gone down this road if we didn't know that we could do that. So, but that's why I'm here tonight.
Then you should ask the assistant city manager where you stand and what he says should prevail.
Mr. Burmas?
I think 3 basic facts are escaping us. First fact, this is a $20,000 purchase, so this needs to come to council. Second fact is this was not an emergency purchase, nor is it an emergency purchase now. This is to avoid future emergencies. The third fact is the staff does not come to council tonight and then order the salt tomorrow. We had a contract in place with the company. Tonight is for final approval for signature of that contract. Certainly the company we're working with is not going to tell us they're going to give us a certain amount of tons of salt last week, and then this week, we're all out of salt. So those are the 3 facts as I see them.
Last question: what are we paying per ton on this order?
unit price for this salt is 90. Sorry, I had it at my fingertips here. $95.61.
And these six reported purchases average about $41 a ton. Can we get more salt in the spring when it's available at reasonable prices to go through the winter next year?
Mr. Mervis?
Also, I just would like to say that this has been an abnormal winter season, and this is something that every community in Illinois is going through. And the price of $95.61 a unit is actually a bargain compared to some of the other prices that other municipalities are paying. Certainly, we can't predict the weather, and this was an abnormal season. So if council directs us, next snow season, we can purchase an abnormal amount at a lower price, and we may not even need that salt.
Mr. Holm?
I'll comment and I'll say we purchased the maximum we could purchase at the cheapest price. I mean, we physically can't shove it in the dome more than we shove it in. In fact, we left many orders on the table with Morton Salt for salt at a cheaper price. Morton simply cut us off and said they can't supply us anymore. So we not only we filled the dome, we filled an emergency bin, then we kept the dome filled, or I say dome, you all know what it is, it's basically just a bin. We kept that bin full as much as we could until Morton stopped supplying our orders. So, I mean, I purchased as much as I could at the cheapest cost from Morton. Had I been able to store it someplace, I could have certainly purchased a whole heck of a lot more earlier in the season. I just don't have a place to put it. This is why we had talked about, I know just the department heads are directed to have a joint meeting with Itasca to talk about some joint solutions to these problems. And this is one of those problems that are on the table. Perhaps we can work with our neighbors to come up with a joint storage location. But for now, this is it. This is all we have.
Thank you.
Roll
But
call.
just so you know, we do support you.
Roll call.
Alderman Coles?
Yes.
Alderman Police?
Yes.
Alderman Knight?
Yes.
Alderman Cadella?
Yes.
Alderman Shockey?
Yes.
Alderman Winger?
Yes.
Alderman Wesley?
Yes.
Alderman Lewitton?
Yes.
That passes, and Gary, once again, thank you, and to all the guys in your department for the great job you've done so far this year, and I anticipate for the rest of the year. Mr. Holm?
Yeah, I'm not going to take any credit. My guys have been working their tails off out there, staying on top of things. So I really do appreciate that. And, you know, I've tried to show them that, and the city's bought a couple of meals for my guys over the time. And when it was 3 a.m, they deserve some hot food when they come in. So, yeah, my guys have been working very hard. I appreciate that.
Alderman Winger?
Next item, item number 2, I make a motion to table the discussion of Cypre funding based on further discussion of how we will appropriate the funding
Are you tabling to committee or back to another council meeting? Or
to committee.
is there a second?
Second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries.
That concludes my report.
Finance Administration, Alderman Wesley.
No report, Mayor.
Community and Economic Development, Alderman Lewitton.
Now, there's no report tonight.
We do not have any other business. We do need an executive session tonight on the subject of review of the official minutes, land acquisition, land disposition, collective bargaining, and personnel pursuant to 5 ILCS 120/2C21, 2C5, 2C6, 2C2, and 2C1. May I have a motion to adjourn the city council meeting to executive session?
So moved.
Is there a second? Second. Roll call.
Yes.
Alderman Cadella?
Yes.
Alderman Knight?
Yes.
Alderman Coles?
Yes.
Alderman Lewitton?
Yes.
Alderman Police?
Yes.
Alderman Shockey?
Yes.
Alderman Wesley? No?
Yes.
Oh, no, I'm putting down no. Alderman Winger?
Yes.
That passes. We're adjourned.